Hey, what's up, guys? This is Justin from Team Superstar, and today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my Bavsargra deck. I should have did this a while ago when the deck first released, but I've just been playing Flagship and Overlord for the most part. So yeah, I played this too as well. With this deck, I've gone X1 or XO a lot, so I decided to do the profile on this today before the next set drops, because with the next set dropping, you're probably going to be changing one card, and that's if you want to. But yeah, standard Ride line, Blaze Dragons, then Blaze Maiden. So the zeros, we are playing 4 Trick Moon. Trick Moon's probably the best card in Dragon Empire. It's even techable in Nirvana. Like, I'll do a deck profile on my Nirvana deck probably next week. But Trick Moon, it's like, it changed Bavsargra. Right now it's more of a power deck instead of a tech deck. So you always want to have one of these boosting every lane, and then overpower your opponent from start to finish. Next for zeros, I'm only playing 3 draw and then the over trigger, because I mean it basically draws. But it's like, how I usually play games is I want to crit my opponent to death, because advancing the game state, critical triggers are better. So I'm playing 4, then 4 Burning Flail. Burning Flail is like an absolute in most Dragon Empire decks, just because of putting into the soul the counter prison for the soul that you need to do abilities, or for getting cards like early game. If you don't have a card to discard, like Trick Moon or something that you want to bring back when you first equip your first weapon, Burning Flail is a good discard if you want, just because it fuels your soul. So, and if you don't draw enough weapons or the Persona Rods with this deck, usually I'll call one of these a turn before and soul charge it, so the next turn I have enough soul, because I'm not playing Travis anymore. So you gotta have a little foresight with it. And lastly, for zeros, I'm playing 2 15k shield and 2 of the restanding guard. The restanding triggers here for decks that hurt Bavsargra, because Bavsargra actually struggles against multi-attack with high numbers. Multi-attack, low numbers don't really matter, because how I have the deck set, I can intercept and shield all game. The 15k guards are in here for Kyrie. These are for multi-attack decks. Usually you discard these depending on what you're playing against, and the 15k is always like useful, especially with a lot of Kyrie being played like here. But this is good for anything else that has multi-attack that would really hurt us, like Flagship or Overlord. Next, great one lineup. I am playing 3 Self Dragon Fushimachi and 4 PGs, and then 4 Sealed Blaze Dragon Samsara. Samsara is probably one of the better great ones in the deck now, because it allows you to early game rush. You don't really care if your opponent retires it, because you can call it back with other units, and you can intercept once you have 2 items equipped. You can intercept with it all game. So one of my best ways to play this, my favorite, is to keep calling this back with the item if I already have Trick Moon set, and keep intercepting with this for the rest of the game. This is filler right now because it's a 15k guard, so it helps with some of the more annoying multi-attack decks like Kyrie. So I'd rather have more shield in my hand for decks like that than wasting space on the grade 3. So I've actually slimmed down the deck from how it used to be to majority of my deck having shield. But next set, I'm probably going to drop this to put in the new grade 2 that can counterblast call itself, just because your hands in Bavsargra are usually inconsistent. It's better to always be able to use a counterblast to call back a unit so you can have aggression. Because how the deck wins now is constant power and being able to hit with 3 lanes, because it's a 3 attack deck. You want to be able to hit from start to finish with as many lanes as possible. Next up, grade 2 lineup. 4 Seal Blaze Dragon Edom, and only 3 of Ashinya. Ashinya. I am probably butchering this, but 4 of this one and 3 of this one. I'm only playing 3 of this guy because in the prison matchup, this is not optimal. Against a lot of decks, when you're playing it, it's not optimal because it's a counterblast. It brings back a unit, which is good, so it combo well with Samsara, so you can keep intercept off your front row. The next turn, call one of these, bring back another Samsara, and then you have 2 intercepts again. So it's like an ultimate defense sort of deck. But it is a counterblast, and you also want to use the counterblast on your weapon to bring back row as well. But this is a counterblast in the body. The reason why it's at 3 is because, yes, it brings back a card, but it only gains the power for when it's first called, and it's a grade 2. You have no way of recurring this card. While this is a constant 20k beat stick while it's on the field, so it's a little bit better, especially in the prison matchup. Because in my prison matchups, I lose all of my counterblasts to keep bringing these back to the front row and trick moons to the back row. So all of my counterblasts go to just overpowering my opponent instead of trying to be techie. Against prison, you don't really need to be techie. You just need to use what you already have in their prison to kill them and keep everything else in your hand. Then again, with Kyrie, like, this is pretty good because you can bring back something and then intercept everything off so you don't take unnecessary damage. But this is a really solid card because it's always 20k during your turn. So even unboosted, it can hit your opponent. Then lastly, it's going to be my grade 3 lineup. I'm playing 1 shield. I took out the sword because of space. Like, I'd rather just have defense now with how the deck is, with so many decks having high power and multi-attack. And then, of course, 3 of the Persona Ride. So my grade 3 lineup is very lean, and the shield is already a 10k. As soon as you equip it, I've won a lot of games where I didn't see another item at all until late game, or not at all. It doesn't really matter. Like, the only item you absolutely need is the shield, and then Persona Ride's help. Because with Bavsargra, then if you have 2 items equipped and you use the 2 crit, a lot of times if you hit the over trigger, that's game. I don't think I offensively hit the over trigger at all today, but it usually helps if you do. Like, I've lost a lot of games against Bavsargra decks when they hit the over trigger, just because 2 crit twice in 1 turn, especially early games, is very hard to guard against. So, guys, that is my Bavsargra deck list. Please like and subscribe and let us know what other decks you would like to see. Peace.